top-secret operation which took 4 months to prepare. It's a massive undertaking. The International Customs Office is going to block 6 African ports. Over the course of 5 days, all containers are to be scrupulously monitored. Codename Operation Stranglehold. It's an operation led by the International Customs Office and involves officers from 174 different countries. Frenchman Christophe Zimmermann is in charge in Dakar in Senegal. Open that up for me.
Everything out. Max, open each carton, each. Okay.
In Dakar, more than 1 million containers are discharged every year. It's a point of exit for all exports leaving West Africa. The job for these customs officers today is to find a virus which is ravaging the entire planet. An economic virus, counterfeit goods. There are the usual luxury products, belts, bags, shirts bearing the logos of the big brands. But they find something far more disturbing. Counterfeit mayonnaise. Whoa, it's only 60 degrees in there. 40 degrees in the containers where the boxes wait for 10 days here at the port, before spending a further 20 days in transit. God knows what's going to happen to the people that finally eat the stuff. Everything that sells can be copied, and it's not without danger. Drinks containing bacteria, electrical appliances which can catch fire, perfumes and cosmetics liable to provoke allergies, and on a bigger scale, copies of spare parts for cars, doors, bumpers, windscreens, bonnets, and even pieces of the engine. Christophe Zimmermann has been working for the Customs Service for 30 years. But over the last few years, this phenomenon has really begun to worry him. Fake goods can kill or cause injuries. You see, these are medicines. It's supposed to clear a blocked nose. We're finding more medicines and perfumes and watches. The same for foodstuffs. Stock cubes, mineral water, sodas, waffles, anything, sweets, chewing gum, everything. And they have penetrated the big networks of distribution. Even in Europe? Even in Europe. When you've made 3 or 4 million food products, you're hardly going to sell them on a street corner. And that's the problem. Until we can secure all of that, we've got a problem. And the fakers even go as far as inventing products that the brands have never even manufactured. Any opportunity to cheat the consumer. Even electrical products, visibly suspect. The strip light is not up to standard. It's crap. He doesn't mince his words. Christophe is part of a new breed of customs officers. No suits. They're stationed all around the world. And their job is to infiltrate the networks of counterfeit products using fake IDs. They are American and French, the new mercenaries in the fight against counterfeit goods. That's not real either. And in Dakar, in this last container,
open this one, Christian.
Products that the customs officers are finding more and more of. We need to look inside. They're not even being sent to the customs zone. Because we found batteries over there, and all the other batteries are over there. When he says batteries, he means mobile phone batteries, also fakes. These are 100% fake, low-quality copies. But they've got the stickers. And the markers used to guarantee the legitimacy of the product. Even those are fakes. That's dangerous because there's no quality. Batteries we don't know anything about, but which can potentially endanger their users by exploding. These are the merchants of death here. Merchants of death who have flooded not only Africa but also Europe. To track down the source of the counterfeit batteries, we must go to the other end of the world, to Asia, to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is the third biggest port in the world. Every year, tens of thousands of containers leave here to go to destinations all over the planet. In the center of town, a man agrees to meet us. Ted Kavoris is a former policeman from New York. He moved here 10 years ago.
You know, Hong Kong is a very important place for trade. They have a tradition of it, and it's a very open, free, liberal market. So there's a lot of people who come here to do business. Most of it's legit, some of it's illicit.
Ted's job in Asia is to track down counterfeiters for the big brands. He has 30 investigators under his command. It's the first time he has allowed a camera inside his offices.
Welcome to our office at Panoramic. Please forgive the mess, but we're always here working on technical equipment, and it's a very sensitive office.
Microphones, hidden cameras, the ideal devices to infiltrate the networks. On the wall, 30 photos of Ted. For every inquiry, for his own safety, he changes his disguise.
Can you gather some the local staff and come in? Listen, guys, sit down, have a seat. We had some clients who want us to look into the death related to counterfeit mobile phone batteries. So we need to task the research team in China to identify some of the factories. Okay? Yeah. What we're looking for factories that have a fairly substantial manufacturing capacity. So I don't want small factories. Factories with a capacity of less than 10,000 pieces a week or a day, not so interesting for us. We want the big manufacturers. I think we start right away. This is quite urgent. Some people were injured.
Ted and his investigators, therefore, will infiltrate the networks of counterfeit batteries. A risky mission involving well-organized networks. The investigations start 1 hour's train ride from Hong Kong in continental China, in Shenzhen.
We are now in Shenzhen, mainland China. Just on the other side of that building is Hong Kong. This is the border between Hong Kong and China. 12 years ago, there was nothing here, just some rice fields. And now it's an incredibly industrialized city. I would say if you bought an electronic good or a luxury goods item, more likely than not it was made in Shenzhen or Dongguan or southern China. But that includes counterfeit product as well.
Skyscrapers as far as the eye can see, and a consumer society. A metropolis of 15 million inhabitants. Shenzhen is a symbol of modern China. The first stage for Ted is to localize the sales points of these fake batteries in this capital of electronics. One of his investigators has found this shopping center.
Okay. You have the hidden camera, the covert cameras all good to go? Okay. Let's go do this, yeah?
Inside, hundreds of stands over 4 floors, dedicated entirely to mobile phones, headsets, chargers, all kinds of accessories, and above all, thousands of batteries. But everywhere we go, we have the same surprise.
No. Copy.
Original copy. Copy.
Also copy.
Just tell me the brand you want and I'll get it for you. What brands can you offer us? Pretty much all the makes. Nokia? Yes, and Samsung, Sony Ericsson, and the Chinese makes. And Motorola? Yeah, I have some. It's a good find for Ted and his team. It seems unbelievable, but all the batteries are fake, and the sellers are also providing fake packaging.
Let me see, you have the whole whack. So here we're at just a very small shop. There are thousands of them, and they service the overseas customers. Have all the packaging, have the generic batteries, and let me see the Motorola, copy Motorola. How much for this?
多少钱？13 13
Here's a finished product ready for shipment. 13 renminbi. If I'm paying 10 cents for a battery and selling it in your country for 20, 30 euro, it's not worth anything.
And what about the design of the battery? Does it look like the genuine?
It looks like the genuine, but I'm sure the ampage and the lifetime are much, much less, and I really worry about the safety because nobody has any oversight over this product. And many people come from many other countries and come shop here for this. Okay, what Maya?
Okay, 再来。
And 2 aisles further on, and it's even more blatant. To get the price down even further, you can buy plain batteries on one side and the labels for the brands on the other. The young woman who receives us can provide sheets of labels for all the big phone brands, and the labels stipulate that the batteries are made in Hungary. In the cupboard, there are also false safety certificates for China, the US, and Europe.
So, what am I jig about?
And the icing on the cake? These holograms, created by the brands to fight against the forgeries, are themselves fake.
How many we need? Like candy in the candy shop. For 2.5 euro, I now have enough labels to make 200 counterfeit batteries. I also have some stickers to make European safety certification.
Excuse me, cargo service.
Suddenly, 2 young women approach us.
If you want to deliver goods,
To where? To where?
to where?
Yeah.
Anything.
Everywhere? Everywhere?
Yes, by air.
Oh, to ship.
Yeah, by ship or by air.
Okay. And what about battery? No problem for battery? To export battery?
Battery? Yes.
Yes?
Okay, good.
The office is in the neighboring building. We trip over the packages in the corridor. We pass ourselves off as big importers. And soon, thinking she's about to snap up a new customer, the employee lets us in on some secrets.
What goods can you ship? Anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you have the battery cell phone, we won't declare.
How are you going to send? I mean, FedEx?
No, by air.
Yeah.
By air, like Air France. Air France.
What I want is to ship 1,000 or 2,000 counterfeit batteries.
No problem. No problem.
No problem, because
How many pieces?
1,000 or 2,000 counterfeit.
quantity.
Small quantity?
Yeah.
But I have to try first. Is there any trouble with the customs in China?
No.
I mean, what happens if the customs in Hong Kong find it?
No.
You should not worry about that in China, okay?
This is not.
Could you explain them in
No,
Chinese?
this is not via China custom.
Yeah.
We send it directly to Hong
From
Kong.
Hong Kong.
From Hong Kong.
Yeah.
But there are some customs in Hong Kong.
No
No?
problem. Trust us.
If you have the ability in France, so no problem.
No.
See,
Don't worry about
this is go to France.
Yeah.
No problem.
So are all of the fake batteries which can get into Europe dangerous? These fake batteries, are they really dangerous compared to the originals? We took these batteries, bought in China, back to France. We head to the suburbs of Paris, where Veritas has agreed to test our copies. The results will surpass all of our expectations. We'll do an X-ray test with the original and then the fake, so we can look inside without destroying them.
Et la contrefaite. Alors on va regarder à l'intérieur sans la détruire, donc c'est le but des rayons X.
An X-ray to check the content. And though these batteries look similar, they are in fact quite different.
Donc et voilà les résultats, l'original, la contrefaite.
These are the differences, in fact.
Par rapport à l'original.
There is a security element missing in our copy here. In the genuine battery, there is a fuse which cuts the power if the phone is left on charge for too long. Once the battery is full, it should stop charging. On the fake, this does not happen. So what happens then when the battery is fully charged? There is a security element missing in our copy. It goes down to the basement for further analysis in a safe place. Now we're going down to the bunkers. It's a special area, a big block of concrete, where we test all the products that might explode. Our fake batteries will be overcharged as part of the test. 3, 2, 1. For most of our copies, everything is fine. There is a security measure which cuts the charge automatically, like on the original. But there are also less good quality fakes. After 45 minutes, one of them suddenly deforms. So I cut the power immediately, and there was an explosion like a mini bomb. The battery is on fire. We're going to leave the room and leave it to burn. An explosion like a mini bomb. The battery has even pulled itself out of the crocodile clips it was attached to. The danger is therefore real for some of the copies. Back in China, Ted Kavoris's inquiry is making some headway. He has clearly identified the sellers and the exporters, but the important thing is to find the factories to stop the production. His investigators have spotted a factory, a suspicious one.
Okay. 我们到了5分钟
Where do we go, Ted?
Now we're going to a factory manufacturing mobile phone batteries.
How do you find it?
We found them on the internet, and we also monitor the wholesale markets and see who's supplying them. So we're going to pretend to be big buyers from overseas, and we come to view their product and to learn about what they manufacture.
Is it dangerous to do so sometimes?
No. It's a very civilized country, China. Obviously, they're not so happy if they catch us, but not so violent. Business is business.
Foreign companies have outsourced production of microwaves, computers, and other technologies here. And here are the workers behind the growth of China. They're generally migrant workers, usually from the countryside, looking for a better life. On average, they earn 150 euros a month, much more than in the fields. Their life is this company. They work together, eat together, and sleep together in the dormitories. But hidden amongst the factories, there are also those producing counterfeit goods. We have a meeting in one such factory, set up by Ted's investigators. The camera is very discreet.
Hey, how are you? I'm George. George, I'm the boss.
Welcome to.
Thank you.
To impress us, the director proudly shows us her new machines.
This is exactly same as the original one. The original processing like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just
Faster.
yeah.
But on the other side of the wall, there is a workshop from another era. 50 people assembling piece by piece counterfeit batteries. Nokia, Motorola, Samsung, Sony Ericsson. The production line begins with the preparation of the parts of the batteries. At the end of the chain, the false logo is attached. These are rarely seen images, the division of illegal labor. There are many young people amongst the employees, teenagers, impossible to say if they are less than 16 years old, the legal age to work in China. And there's no time to chat.
This is the battery?
No English.
No English, no Chinese. Sorry. Let's go office then. Thank you.
We say we will call back the director to place a large order. It's a dilapidated factory with only an average capacity for production. But the business is flourishing so much that some counterfeiters have gone even further. Such as this company, with its grand entrance. The receptionist greets us. Smart new offices and a tea ceremony to welcome the client. The director of exports receives us. 120 people work underneath him.
We have many models because all the brand name of the mobile phone, for example, Nokia, Motorola, Samsung, and LG, and...
You sell original?
Original? No. We cannot sell original, but we can make a high copy of
you
original.
sell only copy?
Yeah, it can do.
In fact, the man proposes many different qualities of battery, and he isn't very reassuring about the cheaper ones. To sell them at a better price, he leaves out a fundamental part.
You are charging the battery. If you don't have the IC, there will be when the battery is full, the capacity is full. Maybe it will go on charging and will be fat and explode. Yeah, very dangerous.
And that's why the battery exploded in the test. And most worryingly, the company sends some of these batteries to France.
60,000. What about France? France maybe because before the Chinese New Year, they have shipped one shipment to there is 24,000.
Before Chinese New Year?
Yeah, before
you sent 24,000 batteries to France?
Yeah.
All high copy?
It's an impressive amount, and things are going well for the company. They've just invested in this new production line. A 300 square meter room solely dedicated to making counterfeit batteries. Ted's clients are right to be worried.
I think there are many factories like that, and that in order for them to stay alive and stay in business, they need to supply the demand from overseas for counterfeit product.
And it's even worse with the economic crisis now?
Much worse. I think more and more factories are finding themselves desperate, and then they have to take this risk to make the counterfeit and supply their overseas customers with branded product.
What do the Chinese authorities do against counterfeit?
Well, the Chinese authorities are fairly diligent about it. It's just that there's such a great demand from all over the world for these products. So many foreign customers come here and demand counterfeit product for their home market that the Chinese authorities have difficulty keeping up with it.
China, however, is the only country in the world which controls goods leaving the country. Ted will decide whether or not to continue with the inquiry, to take it to court in China. Back in Hong Kong, Daniel Plain knows all about the problem of counterfeit batteries. But for many years he was Mr. Anti-Counterfeit for Nokia, the #1 producer of phones in the world. And Plain is going to do a demonstration which sends shivers down the spine. He's going to show us that even in an official shop, you can't be sure what you're buying.
The Nokia one, you can see it's got the hologram on it. Yeah. What about the other manufacturers? What do they have?
That's all they come with.
Can I see that Motorola one? How can you be sure the batteries are real batteries? Is there any way to be sure?
Well, you check yourself.
you can't do anything except check yourself, right? Okay. All right, thank you very much. Of course, he also puts a very high price on the product to make sure that the consumer is much more confident, because if the battery was selling for 15 renminbi, which it costs to make the fake, the consumer would suspect that it was a fake. But if it sells for 300, the consumer can be certain, or at least confident, oh, it must be real. They wouldn't charge that much for a fake battery. So this is really in my mind, the worst type of counterfeiting, because not only is it taking money directly out of the brand's pocket by using that authorized dealer tag to sell a fake, it's also fooling the consumer who wants to buy a safe, genuine product and is willing to pay for it, taking advantage of them and unknowingly forcing them to buy a fake product, which could actually be quite dangerous.
But it's not just the Americans that are fighting against the counterfeiters. In the heart of Paris's Opera District, with all its department stores, there is this discreet office. A man is about to leave. Suitcase, camera. But Philip van Eekhout is not going on holiday. He's hunting down counterfeiters. See that? That's the other important element. These are fake business cards. Fakes. To fight fakes. It gives us cover to get information and eventually get in contact with people and to infiltrate their networks. Everything is ready to take on the counterfeiters. Van Eekhout is the bloodhound of the French brands. From pharmaceuticals to luxury clothing and even counterfeit cars, he has one credo: to conquer the enemy territory. If you need information, that's where you've got to go and get it. And where are you off to now, then? I'm going to the airport and going to China. Twice a year, Philippe van Eekhout comes to Canton in the south of China to the International Trade Fair, one of the biggest commercial exhibitions in the world. Everything Chinese is celebrated here, and buyers come from all over the world. Just about everything can be found here: clothes, shoes, leather goods, cookware, sportswear, food and medicines. Fashion, design and business services. Canton is the biggest exhibition in the world, with over 30,000 exhibitors spreading across a surface as big as 170 football fields. Everything that is made in China is on sale at the fair of Canton, and sometimes the most far-fetched inventions. We're going to see the medicines and the food products over here. There are perhaps interesting things to see. At the fair, 9 out of 10 products are originals. But Van Eekhout often spots the fakes, like this ketchup.
Do you export to Europe?
Europe.
Yes. You do exporting to Europe?
Yes.
Okay. Ressemble étrangement à quelque chose de connu.
That looks like something we all know. The packaging and the design.
Moi, le packaging, en tout cas, un peu limite, quoi.
He carries on, making his way through the aisles. With his fake business cards, Van Eekhout can pass himself off as a buyer like any other. And everything can be faked. You just need to have an eye for it. I always sniff around for a bit, and then if I see anything interesting, I go and take a closer look. Sometimes the merchandise is hidden. There are lots of security guards at events like this, so in order to get away with it and not have their stuff confiscated, they often hide the stuff. And suddenly, at the back of an alleyway, the hunter spots a product which intrigues him.
Hey, how are you?
We follow him with a hidden camera. It's a copy of a well-known energy drink, Red Bull. And to show us that it's a good copy, the saleswoman has got some of the original on site.
Similar. Yeah.
Vitamin drink.
Yeah, okay. But this is the genuine one, right?
If you look closely, on the fake, the Red Bull has become a red horse. A can which looks just like and could be mistaken for the original. The only difference is the name.
You can call it red line,
red whatever.
Red bull, red animal.
Red cow.
Red animal.
Why not red camel? Well, you have a choice.
And do you think possible to export this into Europe?
He's asking if you could export that for him to Europe. No problem.
No problem?
Yes.
And the fake Red Bull is exported to Europe. The drink, very popular with the young, has captured the attention of the counterfeiters. In February 2007, at Le Havre, French customs seized 7,700 cans, all of them copies of Red Bull. At the time, the famous Red Bull featured on the packaging, but the name Red Bull was replaced with Gold Cow. After a few months in storage, the liquid somehow perforated the cans. And one can became completely corroded over the course of a few months. Either the packaging was defective or the content itself attacked the metal. The most dangerous thing with these fakes is that there is no guarantee of the composition of the drink. It's what the alcohol-free beer ads would like to claim. It looks like, smells like, and tastes like the real thing. But in this case, you don't know what you're drinking. The content could be very different from the original. There's no guarantee at all of what's in it. The counterfeiters have got their hands on all products, food and drink included. As well as the products that we eat and drink, there are those which we put on our skin, such as perfumes, cosmetics, and over-the-counter remedies. Van Ecot has discovered a copy of a medicine known all over the world. What's that, Philip? Oh, this is Vicks Vapor Rub. It's a well-known product, isn't it?
Oui, ça existe.
Oh, yeah, you can find this everywhere.
So you manufacture that?
Yeah, we are manufacturer.
This one too?
Yeah, this is we produce. This is.
It's an ointment with a camphor and eucalyptus base used for respiratory problems. It's applied directly onto the chest. But the thing is, the man talking to us at the stand has no license to produce it. But he is ready to do anything for new business.
This one is made in Mexico. This one.
Yeah, Mexico.
It was for a Mexican customer, or?
Yeah, it's all customer. Maybe all customer is the distributor for this Mexico product, and then he authorized us to
manufacture the
OEM for them. This one.
Okay.
Il pourrait nous la faire en français?
Could you put it in French? The label in French?
You make design. You send us by computer. Then we can make it as your design, same as your design.
So we can basically.
We put whatever we want on this label, really. What do you think of it? Well, there's a big problem here. Which means, let's save it for later. It was imperative to keep the disguise going, and besides, the salesman might understand French. At his hotel room every evening, Philippe Van Ecot debriefs the day with his local correspondent.
I saw something very interesting. This guy, based in Qingdao, is manufacturing this product. Okay? And I would like to have a little bit more information on him, just to see if they are producing that very often or not.
The next stage will be, without doubt, to infiltrate the company.
C'est le travail de l'enquêteur qui,
it's the investigator's job to infiltrate the company for an unlimited amount of time. And that gives us access to inside information. We can get information about the suppliers, for example, of the primary materials, as well as those companies that do the transporting, and getting other details like the numbers on the containers. Medicines and cigarettes are amongst the products of which there are more counterfeits than any other. And according to the World Health Organization, 1 of every 10 medicines is fake. One of the countries most affected by fake medicines is Cambodia. Tourists only know about the beauty of the famous temples at Angkor. But behind the postcard scenes, the reality of healthcare in this country sends shivers down the spine. Cambodia was ravaged by civil war and the Khmer Rouge 30 years ago, and the country has struggled to recover. Here, living standards are among the lowest on the planet, and healthcare is very expensive. It's a golden opportunity for the counterfeiters, who can sell their fake medicines at a low price. Dr. Bert Rischner is a well-known figure in Cambodia. He's a Swiss pediatrician who has been fighting for almost 20 years at the hospital where he treats children for free. For many of them, it's a question of life and death. None of the children here would have any hope of surviving without this hospital. None of them, not even one of them. What worries Dr. Rischner is that 1 medicine in 4 in Cambodia is a fake. Among his patients, there are children whose illnesses have been made worse by the counterfeit drugs. Like this little boy suffering from malaria. He is seriously ill. There are a lot of fake medicines, and that's a catastrophe. If the children arrive with malaria, we can cure them. But this child also has a kidney problem, and that is due to the fake medicines. And we aren't sure if we can solve the problem. We don't know yet, but we'll try. The boy's family bought the medicine from a pharmacy. But here, nothing is guaranteed. The entire medical system is infected with copies. The fakers have managed to integrate the distribution system. Dr. Rischner has created 5 private hospitals all over the country, and their success has been colossal. From dawn, hundreds of mothers form a queue to have their children treated. And the biologist himself receives them. This morning, for example, we'll receive more than 800 children. The children arrive very early, and we're going to let the first 400 of them in. And here you see there is an emergency, so we will take them in straight away, and that's based on the doctor's decision. The huge numbers waiting to get inside are there because the healthcare here is free. And above all, the patients are certain that all the medicines given out are original. What's more, to avoid people reselling the drugs, he gives out only the exact quantity of medicine needed. We do everything possible to avoid people reselling the medicines or the drugs on the streets. The parents might be tempted to sell the medicines on to make a few more dollars. The bottles given out to the families are stamped one by one. All the medicines are bought via laboratory officials from secure networks, thanks to the donations received by Dr. Rischner. There is some big news today, and the medical team is talking about it. Oh, look, it's him. The producer of fake medicines has just been arrested. But who is this man? And what was he producing and where? And which pharmacies was he supplying? To find out, we go into the heart of Phnom Penh. Here, there isn't really any sign of the company. But a neighbor remembers some of the more sordid details. He wasn't only selling fakes, but also selling medicines which were past their sell-by date. He changes the expiry dates, you see. So he sold medicines that were out of date. He just changed the date. The use-by dates were changed. The antibiotics contained no active ingredient. But our questions start to annoy certain people. A man gets in touch with us and agrees to meet us in a discreet cafe in the capital. It's the associate of the trafficker who has just been arrested.
You want some drink?
But oddly, he says he knew nothing about his partner's practices.
Did you know what that Mr. Sake changed the date and use fake things?
Actually, for this event, I don't know at all.
You don't know?
I don't
you
see
never
at all.
know?
I never know.
If a child buy a medication like that, and it's a fake medication, he can die, you know?
Yeah, because it make thing with the child or children when they put this medicine. It's my luckiness also because my son one time I think I ready to use it, but I not use it because I have one sample, you know. To,
you thought maybe it's not good, or
because I no have time to. Because we don't know.
Selling fake medicines, but afraid to give them to his own son. It's a virtual admission of guilt. The banks of the Mekong are one of the most badly affected zones for fake medicines. Last year, Interpol launched a big operation in Southeast Asia. No less than 16 million copies were seized on this occasion. However, it's not just developing countries which are affected by this phenomenon. At Charles de Gaulle Airport near Paris, our inquiry continues. In Europe, of course, the distribution networks are more secure. But nevertheless, counterfeit medicines do get into France. And we head to the postal sorting office at customs. Here is where letters and packages from all over the world arrive. 1.5 million items pass through the sorting office every month. Last year, 6.5 million counterfeit goods were seized. It was a record, because a revolution has boosted the economy for fake products, the internet. No need to travel anymore. You can get everything from within your own living room. It would be impossible to open all of the packets, and the customs officers therefore use a scanner to see what's hidden inside. Here you can see it's tablets from the scan. You can see their shape. Tablets by the thousands. The customs officers find more medicines than any other fake products. And beyond the economic implications, the counterfeit medicine can endanger people's lives. More and more people are placing orders without being aware of the dangers. When it's about something that you're going to swallow, there's a risk, but people don't realize it, unfortunately. Fake medicine is the most worrying of all counterfeit products. At the airport warehouse, there are cases packed with fake medication. You see all these parcels that we have to check? There are thousands of medicines inside. The type of drugs that the customs intercept the most often are also called comfort medicines, like remedies for erection problems, viagra or Cialis. So what is in these fake medicines? And are they dangerous for the health? We head to England, to Sandwich in Kent. This is where the Pfizer factory is located, a gigantic complex with 4,000 employees. Pfizer is the pharmaceutical group which created Viagra, and the only company with authorization to produce it. We wanted to test some of the boxes of Viagra seized at Charles de Gaulle Airport. Wendy Greenall is a chemist. She belongs to the quality control department that tests for fakes.
This is Pfizer's Quality Operations building, and in here is where all the forensic analysis takes place, where we test suspected counterfeit pharmaceuticals. Basically, we test all the samples from the Europe, Middle East and Africa region. We have two other laboratories, one in America, which is in Groton in America, that tests the Americas seizures, and we have a third laboratory in Dalian, China, which tests all suspected counterfeits in the Asia-Pacific region. This is one of the laboratories doing testing.
According to experts, Viagra is the most counterfeited medicine in the world. And you can see that on the shelves.
These are the samples we have that are waiting testing at the moment. We receive probably approximately 140 samples a month at the moment of suspected counterfeit products. So this is just Pfizer's suspected counterfeit products. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we're only seeing a very small amount.
Which manufacturer counterfeit Viagra, for instance?
I can't answer that. Not allowed to.
Not allowed to?
No, sorry.
Faced with this influx, the authorities are multiplying police operations to dismantle the networks to countries such as Turkey, Russia, Ukraine, India. And there are more dangerous drugs than Viagra in the kingdom of the counterfeits. Sleeping tablets, drugs for depression, malaria, as well as antibiotics. They often come from makeshift laboratories, like here in Colombia. There's no hygiene. They're pills drying under the heat of lamps. Copies of medicine destined to flood the entire world and to swindle the sick. With the boxes seized in France, the thing Wendy Greenall does is to take a photo. She must always keep a record for the database. She also inspects the packaging. On the left is our suspected copy. On the right is the original packaging. And our box seems to be from Russia.
And as you can see, the layout is correct. Very, very good copy. But the first thing you notice is this is the security feature is not correct. There's no response. Look at the packaging face on, it will appear solid blue. But as you begin to tilt the packaging, you can see the colour change. Now, of course, with the counterfeit pack, this isn't happening. So we can see straight away that this label is a counterfeit.
Each tablet is studied meticulously, its size and weight measured, and above all the molecular analysis, the indication of the content. And the verdict is on the screen in a matter of seconds. The authentic Viagra is black, and our tablets seized at Roissy are red. It's not the same formula. They're fakes. But there are even more counterfeit products out there just as dangerous as fake medicines. Fakes that our French investigator is interested in. For Van Eekhout, the inquiry finishes in Beijing. There is an industry he really wants to infiltrate. The counterfeit car market. The French press regularly uncovers cases of unscrupulous mechanics who use imitation parts. The number of parts seized has multiplied by 15 in the last few years. We're heading to the Chinese capital suburbs, where we will meet two of his informers. After 3 months of inquiry, they have found this place. It's a car parts market with around 200 shops. Workshops, brand new parts. It's a paradise for mechanics and car enthusiasts. On the awnings we see the logos from makes all over the world, and even some French ones. Using a hidden camera, we go to try and buy brakes for a Peugeot 206.
I'm looking for brakes. Brake pads. So it's really original, huh? It's genuine parts. Huh? It's real because it's important for security. Yeah.
He's asking if the parts are original.
Reason, because
yes, they are real. I also have copies, by the way, if you want those.
Which one? This one?
Copies of brakes in the same packaging, impeccably reproducing the Peugeot Lion and Citroën's Double V.
Oh.
And to trick the buyer, they even mark genuine parts on the packaging.
Yes.
Look, on the original it's very thick, you see, so when you brake, the result is good.
Yeah, the friction is different. Okay.
On the other hand, on the copy, it's smooth, very hard. When you hit the brakes, it makes a noise.
We make some noises when you just...
when you press, when you hit the brake, okay.
The material is different.
就说便宜的也可以进。
The cheaper one can also be used,
对
no problem.
只是寿命的长短，寿命
But
的
the
长短
spam is different.
We want
Imitation brakes of inferior quality, ready for the woman to export in official or any other kind of packaging.
I have. You can also send this to Europe.
There's no problem. But why don't you buy one first to try it at home? And if it's good, then I'll give you my phone number, and everything is possible. I can send it to you as cargo.
Can they ship us, let's say, 20, 30 pieces? 30 bucks?
Sure, no problem.
No problem. Okay.
And the saleswoman has more than brakes to offer us.
Okay. C'est un filtre à air.
It's air filters. They've got all kinds here, but you can see here there's no barcode on the product, which is unusual. So this is definitely not an original part, and let's not be fooled here.
Et donc, a priori, ça doit pas être de la pièce d'origine, de toute façon. Il faut pas se faire d'illusions. That's not genuine.
Yes, it is.
这不是，我没跟他说是真的。
He really wants an original filter, does he?
他想要真的，就是你们好一点。
You have?
有。
Listen, sir, here at this market, there are very few original air and oil filters. It's not worth it. It's not an important part of our business. We only have copies. The 4 brakes are sold for €7, 1/12 of the price in France. Certainly fake parts are on sale here, and even allegedly genuine parts are a cause for alarm. And counterfeit goods could have dramatic consequences.
Du côté de Shanghai, on a eu des saisies
On the coast of Shanghai, we seized brake pads like those we just brought here. But instead of using metal, they used dried grass. So you can well imagine that it would be impossible to brake using this type of brake pad. A car is made up of around 10,000 parts, of which 400 are used regularly and must be installed by a mechanic. These 400 replaceable parts are therefore at risk of being imitated. So how can you distinguish between the originals and the copies? In Beijing, to be absolutely certain, we went with a counterfeit hunter, Philip van Eekhout, and the fake brakes we bought to the official Peugeot outlet. Which car is this for? The 206?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go and see if we have any in the shop.
The warehouse to pick up a genuine one.
I'd like to know if these are originals.
他想知道这是真的还是假的。
You know, even if they are fakes, you can still use them. There won't be any problem. Your product there, I don't think they use the same materials, but the result is the same. When you use it, it should be the same. You won't have any problems. But what will happen when I put them in my car? Well, there'll be a noise, a small noise. But when you look at them that way, can you tell us which is the real and which is the fake? Are they really the same to you? Even at Peugeot Beijing, they are incapable of distinguishing between an original part and a fake. In Dakar, Operation Stranglehold at the Global Customs Office is coming to an end. The last containers are being opened. We can't get it all out, there's just too much. When I ask you to, can you open the container over there, please? 5 days of inspections for Christoph Zimmermann and a remarkable haul. 1.5 million imitations of all types have been seized in the 6 countries of Africa, blocked by the customs. Out of 10 containers, 8 contain fakes. Here it's more difficult to find a container of genuine goods than fake ones. 400 million containers are circulating on the waters of the planet, and there are only 800,000 customs officers. It's a game of cat and mouse that continues. Every time we open a container and find something, it means that they have failed. So that means they have to get better at it. And the technical skill of these fraudsters can be impressive. And there is a vast amount of money at stake. Last year, in France alone, customs officials say 500 million euros worth of counterfeit products were seized.